Hi friends.
My name is Priti Sanjamte from H division. My roll number is 1.
My name is Sarvesh Chogle, roll number is 13.
Hi, I am Rutuja Khorate, roll number H19.
My name is Siddhi Kaspekar and my roll number is H31.
My name is Yash Ghorpade. My roll number is H22. Today we will be talking about the deep dark web. So can you guess what amount of data is available to you when you search anything on a normal search engine such as Google, Yahoo or Bing? The information that you get is only 1% of the total information available on the internet. So where is the rest of the information? So it is hidden inside the deep dark web. So let's take an example of ice glacier. So the tip of iceberg represents that the information that is available to any normal search engine, but below the sea level there is more than the tip, so it can be represented as the dark web. In this presentation we will be learning about the prerequisites and how to access the dark web, what are the pros and cons, and what stuff goes on the dark web, and conclusion. Now coming to the pre-requirements. So the first one is Linux.
Linux is the best known and mostly used open source operating system. The set of programs, tools and services, they are typically bundled together with the Linux kernel. Linux has a graphical interface and types of software that you are accustomed by using on other operating system. Now the next point. Although the core pieces of Linux are generally common, but there are many distributions of Linux which include different software options.
The second one is IP masking.
So the point is IP address masking. So first of all, what is IP address? Internet protocol address is nothing but a numerical label assigned to the device which is connected to the computer and which uses the internet protocol for the communication. So IP masking is a method of hiding your real IP of the device, and it is generally done to remain anonymous on the internet. So it basically protects your privacy, it protects your personal information, it protects you from anyone tracing your location, and it also protects you from the identity theft. So identity theft is basically someone deliberately using someone else's identity, and it is generally done to gain financial benefits, or otherwise it is also done for personal loss or disadvantage. So when you mask your IP, no one, that is your ISP or your government, cannot trace your location or cannot monitor whatever you do on the internet. So VPNs can mask your IP, and it is generally impossible for anyone to monitor your online activities. So the next slide is about why is it necessary to mask your IP. That is what it can reveal about you. So there are basically two factors. First one is your digital profile. That is, using specialized software, the snoopers can track your personal information and they can create your digital profile, which is a fake one. So they can misuse your personal information. The second one is advertisement preferences. So the marketers can associate your IP with whatever you have done on the internet, and hence target the advertisement based on the data that they have about you. So these are the basic two factors which your IP can reveal about you and why you should mask your IP. How we can mask your IP address? So there are 4 simple ways to mask your IP address. The first one is use of VPN services, which is the best way. So you just sign in with these services while you go online, and it will mask your real IP address with another one. That is the one on the loan with the services that you're using. Now VPN services also have many more advantages, just like high-speed bandwidth, its usability, its secure connections, also its ability to let you choose the country or city where you appear to be. Now the next one is use of Tor browser. So people around the world use this Tor browser to search the web or to communicate with each other, to buy products with restricted internet. So Tor browser is basically a free software program which you can download on your computer and just use it whenever you go online. So it is a free process with high duty layered encryption. It means that it provides layered security to your data and also gives you privacy protection. Now the third one is use of proxy server. So it can be used to just reroute your browser But there are some risks with this proxy server usage. The first one is it may slow down your internet. The next one, that some of these run on only compromised machines, and the last one, it may not be legal in some countries. So it is a safer solution to use a proxy with which is managed by a company, just like Smart Proxy. The last one is use free or public Wi-Fi. See, your IP address doesn't travel with you. Okay, it is the IP of your device. So whenever you are in the coffee shop or a bookstore where free Wi-Fi is available, and whenever you tap into their Wi-Fi connection, that means that it will display their device IP address rather than your device's IP address. You can just try it. First, you should know your own IP address. Just go wherever the free internet connection is available, and if you tap into their Wi-Fi connection, you will see that the IP address is changed to their device IP address. So these are some 4 basic ways to mask your IP address.
The third one is VPN.
VPN encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address by replacing your IP with one of the VPN servers you choose. Now talking about security. To ensure security, the private network connection is established using an encrypted layer tunneling protocol. And VPN users use authentication methods such as password and certificates to gain access to their VPNs. VPNs cannot make online connections completely anonymous, but they can usually increase the privacy and security of your internet or online transactions. Some websites, however, block the access to non-VPN technology to prevent the circumventions of their geo-restrictions. So, VPN deployment. There are 3 types of VPN deployments. First, VPN in mobile environment, VPN on routers, and commercial VPNs. Now talking about the first type, that is VPNs in mobile environment. VPNs in mobile environments, users utilize mobile virtual private networks in setting when an endpoint of the VPN not fixed to a single IP address, but instead roams across various networks such as data networks from cellular carriers or between multiple Wi-Fi access points without dropping the secure VPN sessions or losing application sessions. Second type, VPNs on routers. With the increasing use of VPNs, many started deploying VPNs connectivity on routers, additional security and encryption of data transmission by using various cryptographic techniques. Now the third type, commercial VPNs. A wide variety of commercial entities also sell VPNs for all kinds of purposes, but depending on their provided and the applications, they may not create a true private network with on the local network.
The fourth one is Tor. Tor. The full form of Tor is the onion routing. So the icon of Tor looks like an onion. So every layer in onion represents every layer inside the network. So Tor is a closed network system. So what it does basically is, firstly, when the browser is started, the VPN also starts with it. The second thing it does is that it bounces the signals through a virtual circuit which consists of various relays, so that anonymizing the user. And the next thing, it is an free and open source software, so it can be downloaded for free from the internet. So the Tor browser is the most widely used browser for ethical as well as non-ethical purposes. And the fifth one is digital currency.
Digital currency is a type of currency available in digital form. It exhibits property similar to physical currencies, but can allow for instantaneous transactions and borderless transfer of ownership. It is a payment method which exists only in electronic form, not in tangible form. Digital currency is also known as digital money and cyber cash. Digital cash is a system of purchasing cash credits in relatively small amounts, storing the credits in your computer and then spending them when making electronic purchases over the internet. Theoretically, digital cash could be sent in very small increments. 92% of the world's currency is digital. Only an remaining 8% of currency is in physical form. There are two types of digital currency, especially they are virtual currency and cryptocurrency. First one is virtual currency. Virtual currency is a digital currency that is used within a specific community. It has real world value. A virtual currency is only valid within the specific community. Next one is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency that does have worldwide value, like Bitcoin. This type of digital currency is based on mathematical algorithms with token being transferred electronically over the internet via peer-to-peer networking. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Ripple are the best cryptocurrencies. There are various advantages of digital currency. First one is high security. There is high security for digital currency. The blockchain is a public ledger used to verify and record these transactions. On one hand, Bitcoin itself is very difficult to hack, and that is largely due to the blockchain technology which supports it. Cryptocurrency and security describes attempts to digital currencies by illegal means, for instance through phishing, scamming, a supply chain attack, or hacking, or the measure to prevent unauthorized cryptocurrencies transactions and storage technology.
So now coming to the part of accessing the deep web. The first step in accessing the deep web is to install a trusted VPN which don't keep any logs, so that if anything goes south, then you would be still protected. The second step is connect to a VPN service other than your own country. The third step is install Tor browser from their official website. And now the last and the fourth step is enter the following URL inside the URL box. So it is www.thehiddenwiki.org. So it will give you access to the deep web. Now access the deep web, what next? So after accessing the deep web, there are numerous options available. After accessing the deep web, the sky is the limit. So you can buy a phone, you can hire a hacker for your own purposes, you can join communities, you can expand your business inside the deep web, you can exchange weapons, digital currencies, drugs, and much more. The following pie chart shows the uses of deep and dark web for various purposes.
Let's see what bad stuff goes on deep dark web. Frauds by using phishing emails, malware trades, illegal use of bitcoins to trade money through internet are the most common cyber crimes on deep dark web. Also, a deep dark web market, also known as Silk Road, which is one of the biggest dark market on internet, through which many bad stuffs like drugs and illegal weapons are dealt. Many hacking groups like XDedic, Hack Forum, Darkcode are present on internet, which makes our privacy less private. As every coin has two sides, deep dark web also has pros and some cons. So let's see pros. Easy access to authorized sites and high quality content makes it effective and easy to operate. It is like light in darkness because it provides freedom of expression to many organizations and people. By keeping their names anonymous, individuals can put their thoughts, their reaction, or their expression on internet and express them by media. It provides access to all news around the world, which keeps transparency between government and people. Many businesses also use this for their product advertisement and selling, like SEO, that is search engine optimization, which is one of the best career opportunities right now in the world. As cons are considered, its anonymity attracts many illegal operations like selling of product like drugs, guns, and selling personal information of the people from social media, many more. Illegal human medical testing and organ trading is one of the biggest crime on dark web right now. So we cannot use these dark sites so easily, and using it you can be at the darkest corners of internet. You could be in a great danger. Use of dark web for illegal things is considered as cybercrime. So we should use it for good things. Future of deep web. In future, deep web will be very much useful in many purposes. It is also useful in online digital marketing, which is one of the booming industries right now. Many product-based companies and e-commerce companies use blockchain method from deep web to increase their business and their model business. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin will be the trading currency on internet, making it more traceable. There will be also a threat to our personal information from social media. So we must keep it secure, and everyone should have minimum knowledge about deep web.
So I would like to conclude by stating that our work has shed light on the various aspects of deep and dark web. So it is basically a hidden part of internet which we explored, and it could be used for legal as well as for illegal purposes. So it depends on the user how he uses it. Thanks for watching the video.